Hey, beautiful souls. I hope that you are all doing really, really well. Welcome back, or welcome to my YouTube channel this evening, or this afternoon, or this morning, wherever you are in the world watching this. We are going to be doing a reading to find out what it is that you need to know right now. And of course, this is going to be a very, very general reading, so you'll need to take the messages as they resonate and apply to you. So this reading is, the intention is to give you messages and clarity and insight into what you're going through right now and what you need to know about it. Okay, so I hope this is helpful for you. If you enjoyed it, please give the video a thumbs up. You can support me by also subscribing to my channel, and if you would like a personal reading, you can find all my details in the description box below. Okay, beautiful people, without any further ado, let's get into it. I'm about to show you 3 different Moonology message oracle cards. You are going to choose one of the 3. Whichever one you're most drawn to at the moment, and that will be your message around what you need to know right now. Okay, so these are the 3 different Moonology cards, oracle cards, that you have to choose from for your reading to find out what you need to know right now. So we have pile 1, which is Moonrise, which is cleansing. We have pile 2, which is Yin Moon, accept help. And we have pile 3, which is hail at the moon, process your feelings. Beautiful cards. Have a think about it. And if you need a little bit more time, I'll get you to pause the video because I am about to start the readings. Hello, pile 1, or for those of you who chose Moonrise Cleansing, this is your reading. So Moonrise Cleansing is a beautiful card, obviously, which is talking about a cleansing, quite clearly. No, this is talking about what you need to know right now is that you're going through a very deep cleansing, is what I'm getting here. A cleansing, I think, in the way that you see things, and in the way that you have seen things for a while, is what I'm getting here. So I think as well you've been through a very difficult situation from now, which from now you're starting to really emerge. And even though you're nearing the end of this challenging period of your life, or if you're already there, you still have energetic cords or attachments that you need to clear from your life. So there's something from this situation that needs to be cleared. So whether that's someone, you get someone to do an energetic cleaning for you, or it's something you can do yourself as well. So using sage maybe, or if your intention is strong enough just to do a cleansing, that it's in itself can be enough, right? This is always I think this is always saying that you need to make sure that you emerge cleansed from this situation, and that you stay honest and true and be in your integrity, and that you really need to remember to be kind, but also very honest with yourself and others is something else I'm getting here, because that's part of the cleansing. So let's now get into your tarot cards. So your current energy that you're sitting in is the 2 of Swords. You're not really seeing things clearly at the moment. You're at a stalemate. And you feel very, very hurt is what I'm getting here, or disappointed. And instead of kind of facing what it is that you need to, you're just protecting yourself with these swords, and you're protecting your heart, because sometimes it's kind of like, if you don't know, then you don't know, but then that also brings about conflict within yourself, because there's no movement. It's just, your strategy is just to kind of sit there and be there and not do anything but to protect yourself. But it gets to a point where that really ends up, influencing your psyche and everything else. And so it's time to cleanse that. It's time to get rid of this blindfold. It's time to put the swords down, and it's time to really open your heart space and take a bit of a risk on life, and start walking towards things that you're passionate about, and just really cleanse out old trauma and blockages is what I'm getting here. It's very heavy energy, I feel, for you, and there's a lot of sadness behind it. With the Six of Cups clarified by the King of Swords, I really feel like at the moment you're working through a lot of childhood trauma without even knowing. And I feel like the King of Swords really represents you're unaware of how this is really affecting you at the moment. You're unaware of how this is creating this in you. You're unaware of how it's affected you for, I'd say, a big chunk of your life. And so I feel like for many of you, you have probably been wearing armor for quite a while now, and maybe overthink and just try and rationalize things, and maybe you don't have kind of like the level of empathy or compassion that you would like to have, because I feel like for some of you, no one has ever really shown you that, or you haven't gotten that pure kind of unconditional love from your caregivers. And I feel like this is really being made very apparent for you at the moment. Whether you're conscious of it or not, it's sitting in the background. There might also be, I feel like it's kind of childhood trauma, to be honest with you, because I feel like for a lot of you, your childhoods weren't great, like a lot of people, and I feel like this is really starting to come to light now. There's a truth that wants to come out through this. There's a truth that will help you grow through recognizing what happened to you as a child, and recognizing how it affected you, and recognizing that now is the time to do the reparenting work on yourself that your parents or caregivers didn't have the ability to do for you. For some of you, you might also be kind of mourning like mourning the loss of your youth, and so it's created armor around you. But yeah, there's something happening at the moment that's making you even more kind of protective at the moment, and making you unable to really see the forest from the trees. The King of Wands and the Page of Wands, there's this real, there's this energy around being able to kind of start again in a more creative way, and in a way that's going to be more empowering to you, where you can feel more free, where you can feel more confident, and you can really be in your power. I feel a very big energy difference and shift between the King of Wands and the King of Swords. And I feel like the King of Wands is wanting to emerge from you through recognizing creative talents that you have, or ideas that you've thought of that are creative and different and passionate that haven't yet come to fruition, but that will bring you more into this energy once you're able to kind of see the way that you've been living so far and recognize that the way that you've been living is through your past. And it's kind of like your past is all you know, and it's kind of a given, and it's become comfortable for you, but it's also become painful in a way, because you're always guarded and you're always unable to kind of make a decision. So you just kind of go with the known, if that makes sense. Seven of Pentacles clarified by the Seven of Pentacles clarified by the Nine of Pentacles. This is a time where you're also going to be, I think, reflecting on maybe what you value in a material way. Maybe you're going to be thinking about how you make money and whether it's something that's fulfilling you. And because the Nine of Pentacles is all about, you know, self-indulgence and living the good life and being comfortable and being fed grapes like a queen or a king, right? Or a person. And I feel like this shift at the moment, this cleansing, is really asking you to reflect on what material things mean to you and whether they've been serving you or not. Like if there's something that have just kind of been getting you by and you're comfortable, and it's something that you kind of, there's a few messages here, but basically what I'm trying to say is there's something here around finances or stability or the way you make money that you're needing to really reflect on. And I think part of your decision might be around going into something completely different, because I feel like for some of you, you've kind of grown up with this kind of pretense of what you should be doing for a living, or what money means, and or what security means, but you weren't given the opportunity to really branch out and be creative and think of creative ways of making money, maybe, or a creative way of being. So you've just kind of lived in this King of Swords energy, which is, there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like we can sometimes think we know the truth, but not always. And I feel like the King of Swords here is a little bit imbalanced, because I do feel like, as I said before, there's some trauma here that's being brought to the surface to be cleansed. So if what you do for a living or your way of thinking or being is based around what you were brought up with, or what you kind of started doing as a job when you were younger, and you may be kind of just stuck in that field or whatever, or way of being or way of thinking, whatever it is, it's kind of like there needs to be a shift in this, and there's this ability for there to be a shift and for you to kind of come more into this fire energy, and also bring about this balance with the, you know, you've got water, you've got earth, you've got water, you've got earth, you've got fire here, you've got all the elements basically. And I feel like this is really talking about what you need to know is bringing all of these into balance. Your word of advice from your higher self is the Emperor. So this is really saying that this is time to really stand in your power, and to know and trust and believe in yourself, and that you can be fruitful, you can feel secure, you can feel stable, and you can feel empowered by choosing a different path. and or cleansing yourself from the past, and it will be incredibly empowering for you. For some of you as well, I feel like there's a message here about maybe connection with your father or a father-like figure that maybe stopped you from going down more a creative venture or a creative way of being, or just an alternative way of being, because maybe that wasn't deemed like something that you could do, or that wasn't something that your father or your grandfather couldn't do, or you were told that you couldn't do that. But this is now your time to kind of step up and go and decide and take control and go, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this cleansing. I'm going to do the inner child work. I'm going to really think about what my truth is and whether this is actually my truth. Is this my truth? Is this really what I want? Do I want to continue to be stuck in the past, or do I want to be able to shift things a little bit? And I really think that this is depicting growth in a creative way, and seeing how you make money in a different way, or seeing stability in a different way that can still make you comfortable. Because there's fear behind this cleansing, I feel. All right, pile one, I really hope you enjoyed your reading. I hope it's given you some clarity or insight into what is on your mind and what's happening for you at the moment and what you needed to know. Please feel very free to leave feedback and comments below. And I want to say a very big thank you for all your love and support, and lots of love and light to you. I'll see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, Baltu, or for those of you who chose the Yin Moon Accept Help. Okay, so this is all really about being in the more feminine energy, in receiving, accepting, not kind of going with the flow more with things. This really isn't the time to push forward unrelentingly with something, but rather to see how you can soften into a solution. So if you've been trying to drive something or convince someone of something, take this card as a sign to proceed more gently, is what I'm getting here. So I'm also getting here, don't be stubborn, and bring out your softer side, and don't let your ego get in the way, is what I'm getting here as well. This card really comes up when the energies are harsh, and being independent is a great thing, but sometimes we just refuse other people's help for all the wrong reasons. So make sure you're not guilty of that right now. Okay, let's get into the tarot. Your overall arching energy is the Nine of Pentacles, which is really, really beautiful, and which is really saying to me that this is something that you can potentially be stepping into, and that you're wanting to step into too. So this person is independent, they're self-reliant, they're established, they're confident, they're stable in what they're doing, and they kind of don't need anyone, if that makes sense. They're in a really lovely place of what I'm picking up too as well with this bird. It almost looks like a dove, like they're at peace with knowing that they can do things on their own, because they've given in to the surrender. They've surrendered to this, kind of like the yin moon. They've surrendered to this. And this isn't being overly independent. This is just like being in a place where you're more happy and you can feel more independent, because maybe some of you are in situations where you haven't felt so independent, or you haven't felt confident enough to be independent. But this is all really changing now. But in order for this energy to shift as well and for it to come into fruition, you also need to be able to accept help, which is what we were talking about before. Okay, so Two of Wands and Nine of Swords. There's some sort of kind of decision that you're trying to make, or there's some potential for newness with something, whether it's like a creative endeavor or just a way of being. But the stress of the unknown is really getting to you with this, with the Nine of Swords. I kind of feel like you don't think you can do this on your own, or you don't have the ability to do this. And the Nine of Pentacles is kind of saying the opposite to that, that you can do that. But then you've got the yin moon saying accept help. So I think part of whatever this decision that you're trying to make, or this creative venture that you want to start, it's like there's too much stress around it, and it's like you're trying to put pressure on yourself to work out what that is. But this is what you need to hear right now, is that this isn't really necessary, because it's creating this imbalance. Because you've got two again here, it's creating this imbalance, and you're trying to juggle. What I'm getting here is you're trying to juggle your mind and your heart, and you're trying to juggle several things at once, and maybe you've got a lot on your plate at the moment as well. So you're trying to put pieces of the puzzle together in order to be able to come into this fresh energy. Part of what is really influencing this is the Five of Cups. So what's influencing it is you not being able to kind of see what you have in front of you. For some of you, you might be going through a really difficult time at the moment. Maybe you're grieving something or someone, or just a way of being, and maybe something hasn't quite turned out the way you wanted it to, and you're finding it difficult to shift past this energy with the Five of Cups. But I kind of feel like this circle here almost depicts like a portal. That's what I'm getting. And it's a portal open for you to go into and to find out what's really possible for you. But if you're juggling too much, and you're trying to make sense of something that you need to do in order to get into this energy, it's going to work against you. Because what I'm getting here is you just need to flow with it and not try to control the situation here, or control how you feel. So you've got the swords here, you've got fire, you've got emotions, and you've got earth. So you've got all the elements here that I think are really trying to balance out. Another message I'm getting here is that I think it's really important for you to kind of be open to new ideas and ways of being, and being more vulnerable again, as in like being more in your heart space, and be open to different ways of thinking and being, and just flowing with things. I feel like for some of you, you're going to be starting to make some new connections as well. And with the King of Pentacles clarifying, this is really saying that either someone has got your back, or the universe has your back. You can't go wrong here. I'm getting that, what's it called? That saying, you know, I can't remember the saying, but it's a saying where, you know, you always land on your feet is what I'm getting here. You always land on your feet. And I think it's like about a cat thing, right? Or whatever. But you're people that I feel like you always land on your feet, because I think inherently you really hold this energy, which is the King of Pentacles. So you somehow always have this energy of stability behind you. And so you don't need to worry about money maybe as much as you are, or having to make enough money, or feeling like you're going to be comfortable and safe, because you are. Because this is really inviting you to be more in your heart space and to just kind of let things flow. And if there's people around you with this energy that are able to help you, then you need to make the most out of that. Because there's loyalty that comes with that. Interesting. So be open to new people, be open to new situations. Try and get out of your head as much as you possibly can within reason, and try not to focus too much on the past, on things that haven't worked out, because there's a portal open for you to now move into and walk into and come into this beautiful Knight of Pentacles energy. Your word of advice, you actually had 2 cards fall out, so I'm going with them. So the first one that fell out was the 3 of Swords. So this is really saying, and of course this is easier said than done, but this is really saying that a lot of you, I think, are going through this at the moment, like heartache, disappointment. And I feel like as well, all these types of things have really held you back in the past from stepping into your 9 of Cups, because the 9 of Cups is about self-fulfillment on an emotional level. Right, but you can't really have this when you're like this. But it's also interesting because one can't exist without the other, right? There's light and darkness. But I think what this is really saying is that you need to be able to allow yourself to feel this and heal this, but also don't allow it to kind of define you or stop you from making different paths or different decisions, or taking a path or making decisions that are going to make you happier on a soul level. Okay, so I'm very tired. Pile 2, I really hope you enjoyed your reading. I hope it's given you some clarity and or insight into what you need to know right now. The universe really has your back here, and I feel like this is fresh energy you're needing to move into. And you will just try to flow a little bit more and let that kind of creative, curious side of you come out, because it's going to help you to connect with new people, I feel, as well, is what I'm getting here. And there's loyal people or loyal energy around you that will always help back you up financially and in a security sense. All right, I will see you at my next pick a card reading. Bye. Okay, hello pile 3. Last but very not least, for those of you who chose How at the Moon, Process Your Feelings, this is your reading. There's a lot of feels here. And there's a big need to process your feelings in order for you to get to a more clearer place and to move into the next kind of paradigm for you. I'm really thinking about the story about the the two, I don't know if you know the story about the two wolves, and it's about like which which wolf do you feed, knowing that there's lightness and that, you know, there's strength and shadow, right? So do we feed ego, or do we feed consciousness and pure love, is another message I'm getting here, because processing your feelings is having to do both of these. There's a big shift for this group happening if you allow it. What you need to know, your overarching energy is the 8 of Trees skill. So there's work here that needs to be done, and I think you're aware of that. And there's work that needs to be done around coming into a new way of being, is what I'm getting. Some of you need to be spending more time in nature, or you will be spending more time in nature. But this, all I feel as well, is very much connected to your heart space. There's something about the skill set you have, or the skill set that you want to come into in order to process your feelings and shift them, because it's going to take a little bit of work, but that's okay if you're willing to take on the ride. So we have the Force, which is strength, clarified by the 4 of Hearts, depression. This group, you're going through a bit of a tricky time right now, and it's taking all of your strength to not allow all this sadness that you're currently going through to affect who you are and where you want to be at. This is a major arcana, so this is really talking about having to face things that you might not particularly want to face, having to, let me just have a look at this, having to see sides of yourself that you might not really like, and to be able to step into real strength, which is, real strength is softness, and being able to express your truth and what you need to, not through ego but through heart, while still having healthy boundaries, of course. But sometimes so boundaries can kind of become walls. So there's a real fine line there. So what you need to know is, don't allow this depression or this sadness or this despair that you're currently going through, don't allow that to kind of like, it's really good to, you need to feel it to heal it, but it's what's going to, and in saying that, it's what's going to help make you stronger. Allowing yourself to cry, allowing yourself to feel how you really feel, is going to allow you to feel stronger and strengthen yourself. Be more vulnerable, but have strength as well. And part of this newness that you're going into, part of this 8 of Trees and skill and working to get somewhere, means, like I said before, being aware of your ego. Because it can make you come across as strong, but I think it's the sadness that you're going through which is building walls and not creating the real strength that should be there. Another major arcana, harmony, the acceptance. This is really talking about surrendering to the unknown, surrendering to your mind, trying to decipher or make sense of something that it can't really make sense of with the Seven of Hearts choices. Because sometimes we can't really see clearly when we're in this space and when we're in this space and when we're in ego. So in order to be able to come to acceptance and harmony, you're going to need to be able to see through the illusions that are going through your head, to shift past them, to open your third eye. Through meditation, through spending time in nature, through being more open in your heart space, through being more vulnerable. Because this is a big lesson that you have to learn. These are two big lessons you really need to learn right now. How to be strong in a wise heart space, and how to also come into a place of acceptance and harmony, and they're going to work hand in hand. But it's kind of like you've got this really lower kind of energy, or this shadow energy, or this sadness and this illusion that's kind of challenging you into you coming into this place. But you can do it now that you're aware of that. You can do that if you choose to. Queen of Angels and Six of Angels. This is beautiful. So what you also need to know is that through, if you can take on these messages and kind of apply them the best you can, you're going to start to see things a lot more clearly, and you're going to start kind of really standing more in your power. And I feel like for some of you, it will be more in your feminine, remembering that male or female both have, you know, aspects of feminine and masculine qualities, but it's going to help you in being able to see things clearly, but still in a soft, heart-centered way as well, is what I'm getting here. You'll be able to then clearly see where the tears are coming from. But I feel like these will be tears of empowerment, because you would have shifted through all of this. And this is going to help you transition through all the mind mess, through all the stress, through all the dramas that you've been through. Because once you can see clearly, you're going to know how to do that, and it's just going to come about instantaneously. But you've got to be able to process your feelings. You've got to be able to process them, and part of that is checking your ego and just really opening your heart space and balancing yourself out, not getting caught in illusions and options and too many things that fog us. Your word of advice is the Magician. And the Magician is, to me, saying to tell you that you have the ability and the power to do this. This is the first card, right, of the major arcana. 0 being the Fool. So this is your opportunity right now to be the alchemist, and to make the changes that you really want to and need to make in order for you to get the life that you want to live. But you've got to remain conscious the whole time. You've got to remain present. And part of that is processing your feelings, like we said before, and choosing which wolf you're going to feed. Are you going to feed ego, or are you going to fear? Or are you going to fear? Yeah, are you going to fear ego, or are you going to feed the wolf that brings you into your divine greatest version, who is present and conscious and loving and provides unconditional love? Pile 3, I really hope you enjoyed your reading. I hope it's made sense to you. I hope it is everything you wanted it or needed it to be? Please feel very free to leave feedback and comments below. And as I always say, if you would like to get a personal reading with me or to check out my social media platforms, you can find all the details in the description box below. All right, that's my cue to sign out for the evening. Thank you so much, Pile 3. Lots of love and light to you. Bye.